Chaz Nickerson, he bumped into us at the shop. He's on a trip, on a mission.
California, about 45 days worth of riding, 9,000 miles,
Wow.
23 states.
Goodness gracious, man. That is insane. 23 states, 45 days, one motorcycle. And I bumped into him, and I got to interview him. I got to talk about his passion and his goals. And we talked a little bit about Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is something that attacks a lot of elderly people. You could be talking to somebody that has Alzheimer's, and maybe, I'm sure somebody that you know suffers with this, because a lot of elderly people do it. To raise awareness. Now, this is a trip that he has waited his whole life to go on. And what's crazy about it, because he's literally going from place to place. He left our place in Georgia, going to South Carolina, and you know, all on a motorcycle. And you talk about fun, you talk about exciting. This guy is just a gem, and I love him to death. And I want to show you our episode. You know, and Chaz has a song in his heart. We're gonna hear that. We're gonna hear him. We're gonna hear his song, and we're gonna go into talk about all kinds of cool stuff in this episode of the Outlaw Process. Okay.
Hey, Charles Nickerson with you here. I'm on an Alzheimer's Association longest day event called Our Grand Tour, doing a solo ride around the United States on my motorcycle, raising awareness and money for the Alzheimer's Association. And I'm with Michael Outlaw on the Process, Michael Outlaw Podcast.
Just want to say thank you, everybody, for joining me on a new episode of The Process. And this is going to be a really cool episode. Not sure what you got going on, but I just want you to relax and chill out. Have you ever had a passion and a drive in your heart that just does something to you until you do it? It's almost kind of like it's affected you enough. It's time to make a move. Well, this is Chazs Story, and I can't wait for you to hear his side. I want to welcome you to the podcast show, man, because it's all about the process, isn't it?
It is.
The current moment that you're in.
Yeah, it's not necessarily destination, it's that journey.
The journey.
And it's the same with...
and you got an amazing journey, man. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear more about that.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I want to know your, Charles, Airbnb. We got reservations. You came down here to stay. Amazing story. On a trip around for Alzheimer's. So tell me about that. What's going on here?
So yeah, I got involved with the Alzheimer's Association after my parents had both passed from forms of dementia, Alzheimer's.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so the Alzheimer's Association, after my parents passed, my dad had gotten dementia from a series of strokes. And he had developed that within the last 16 months of his life. My mom had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's starting in 1998, and she died in 2018, 3 months and 1 day after my dad did. So my dad was a different form of dementia, but my mom was pretty much straight on Alzheimer's, but very slow onset and very slow decline. If I hadn't finally, with the blessing of her sister, put her on hospice, which is something I'd wanted to do for 4 or 5 years, but my father would never allow it. He was in a form of denial. He always thought my mom was going to get better, and it was obvious that she wasn't. But I had to, respect his wishes, and I understood why. So I didn't, I just succumbed to that. So when my father passed, I waited a few days and then put my mom on hospice. And they continued to stick her with insulin needles and stuff, which was what was keeping her alive. And when it came to my attention that they were still giving her meds, I said, no, I don't want you to give her meds unless she asks for them. If she's uncomfortable, you give her some morphine. You give her whatever is going to make her feel comfortable. But she has to ask for it. And she wouldn't, I know it. And she passed for 3 days from the time that we put her on hospice. She went into a diabetic coma and was very peaceful. And the whole time, the last 24 hours, her eyes were closed, but in REM, her eyes were fluttering back and forth and her lips were moving. I really felt that she was talking with my dad. And then she went peacefully in the night about 3 hours after I had left. And of course, at that time, I felt like I think a lot of siblings do when their parents pass. Like I should have done more. There was a sense of guilt that falls over you. And just was living with that for years until I was clearing out. Well, about 6 months before they passed, I was clearing out their property and found a Paisley notebook that was bought at a Rite Aid in 1973. And this notebook was a journal of a trip we took, a family trip around the United States. And we had gone all the way up to the Canadian border, from California to the Canadian border, all the way to New York, actually up into Maine, down through New York, all the way down to the tip of Florida, and then back across through Texas. And 41-day trip. And I read that book, that journal. It was amazing. I remembered a good portion of it. I was 10 years old. It was 1973. And I would actually take my father from the assisted care living that I got him into over to the full-time, it's not assisted living, but full nursing home. There's a term for it, and now it escapes me. But we would sit, and my mom would sit in her wheelchair, and my dad would sit at the table, and I would read sections of that trip. And even my mother every once in a while would perk up and say, and laugh and say, I remember that. And so that was kind of magical. So after they both passed, I always wanted to go around the United States on my bike. And I said, hey, I'm going to relive that trip. And I'm going to do it in their honor. And I reached out to the Alzheimer's Association. First reached out to Alzheimer's, the National Association out of New York. And they're good, but Alzheimer's Association had more for fundraising and for awareness. They provide services for folks that are caregivers and for people suffering from dementia. They provide, have a 24-hour helpline, which I urge anybody who is dealing with the effects of Alzheimer's, who's either suffering it from themselves or has a loved one that they're struggling to cope with caring for them and not knowing what to do, reach out to them. They have a local chapter in every state. They are more than helpful. And they also provide funding for research and development for therapeutics and for ultimately a cure.
This ride here is going to be one of them things where you're going to always remember back at this, and just going out there, making that step and do it, man, you know. So I asked you something. So do you have a song on your heart, man? Like, what kind of song is kind of resonating through all this, you know, through all this traveling and different things? Because, you know, music is just different vibrations arranged in certain patterns. And what you're doing is a musical note as well, you know?
I like that. I have so many. You know, I hate it when somebody says, well, what's your favorite song? It's like, well, could you ask me what my favorite 100 songs are? And there's so many different ones. You know, it might be hard rock, it might be classical, it might be...
what's that one that you was doing earlier, man? What's the meaning behind that?
That was a song, and it is one of the probably more polished songs, of if you can call it that I do. It's one that I wrote with some friends years ago, and whenever we do get together, they always request it. It's called Crutch of a Madman.
What does it mean?
And... you know, I think it means, you know, just take the hardships in life, accept them, move on, grow from them, but, you know, try to help those that you can help, and you know, say goodbye to the ones that you can't help and that don't help you.
Yeah.
Because nobody's ever asked me that before, Michael, and I'm hard to press to put. I thought I originally wrote it about girls that I had known growing up, but I think I wrote it about the kind of lost spirit you have when you're going through your adolescence, looking for what it is in life that gives you purpose. Yeah, and I think that's what it means.
What it means in life, and does the bad experiences actually turns into good experiences?
Absolutely.
If you're on the next turn,
if you
gotta have the bad with the good. You have to have bad to make good. People just want good. It's the bad things and as long as it don't kill you, it's gonna make you stronger. Anything.
Exactly.
If it don't kill you, as long as you got a breath.
Yeah.
You are a wiser human being because you experience that source of vibration.
Yeah, and it gives you that background, that pain or that failure to draw on. And, you know, failure is only an opportunity to learn and grow. And so really, failure is part of that process. Yeah. So don't be scared of failing. Don't be scared.
If you're not failing, you're not trying anything. I tell you, man, to get where we are right now, man, I've tried so many things that didn't work out. Just boom, boom, just constant. I mean, even just the point of just wanting to give up. It's like I'm done. I'm tired of trying the stuff that not to work, you know. But when that thing does work, it's just like the bucket's just unleashed and you can feel it. You can feel
Amen.
It. It makes it worth it.
Amen. I feel like I'm living that right now. This has been the most incredible experience.
To live on this highness and to live on that, you know. And we both know tomorrow is going to have a different day. And we can't always, can't bottle this highness up and take it away. I wish you could. But I definitely get it a lot, meeting people and just hearing stories and just encouraging one another, you know, to kind of keep pushing and do that thing. Do it. Just do it, you know.
I same sentiment.
So many people just want to talk it. You're putting it to the grindstone, you know, putting the tires to the road, you know.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done it without the support of the community and the failures that I've had in the past to know what I'm capable of doing, and to have the wisdom to know maybe that's something that I shouldn't even attempt.
Well, how can people support you? Like, how can they support you? Like, if they want to reach out and donate, what do they do?
Well, you're going to have my information for going through the Alzheimer's Association.
There'll be a link below.
Yeah, and if you got $1 or $5, whatever you can afford, it's a nonprofit. It goes directly to provide services in your local communities for people experiencing Alzheimer's, either caring for or suffering from Alzheimer's. It also provides money for funding so that someday that they can find a cure, and if not, develop therapeutics. The FDA just approved recently addendum. Forgive me, I forget the name of it. It's an odd name, but it's marginally effective at slowing the onset of Alzheimer's. And I think it's just the tip of the iceberg. I think in the next 10, 15 years, with the development of the genetic research and being able to tweak chromosomes and the research, the neuropsychology that they're developing, and being able to see the activity in the brain through MRIs and to be able to chart that is going to start opening up doors for different ways that they can address this terrible, terrible disease.
So, because they're on the front lines, on the forefront, ready to action. Like, that's what the donations are going to help as a whole, as the community as a whole, spread awareness and spread, to help spreading the love, man.
You know, and one of the most miraculous things I just heard recently was this music. She was a musician, but she was a neuropsychologist, and they have just tapped into this type of musical therapy using singing and using playing instruments, because what they found by studying the brain under MRI is that somebody suffering from deep effects of Alzheimer's, their brain is only firing on certain cylinders, you know, only using certain portions of the brain. But when they are played music or asked to sing a song, that all of a sudden it lights up a different portion of the brain. Mm-hmm. And apparently it can be a portion of the brain that hasn't been touched by Alzheimer's. I had an incredible experience with my mother, and since I've been on the road, I've heard this from 2 other people, but it was regarding music, and it was regarding, I got to tell you about it real quick. Yeah. So I'm bringing my mom from the Central Valley of California, about 300 miles into San Luis Obispo. My mom had a famous favorite Spanish teacher in high school that taught her a Spanish toast called Salud, Paseos y Amor y Tiempo para Disfrutarlos.
I could not pronounce that for my life.
It took me a long time to get it down, and I think I kind of mutilated it a little bit, but basically means money, wealth, and health. Yes, money, wealth. No, I'm sorry. Health, wealth, and love, and time to enjoy it. And she would always say that every time we'd have a gathering, Christmas, Thanksgiving, or whatever. But that's the only Spanish I ever heard my mom speak. Nothing else, ever, my whole life. So here we're driving through the Central Valley. I'm listening to the radio, talk show. And we get out of range of that talk show, and Mexican channel comes on with a Mexican host, and they start singing the Spanish song. And my mom starts singing this Spanish song, word for word. And my jaw dropped. I looked at her, and she was just singing along with it. She knew it. I don't know how she knew it. And she was singing it in clear Spanish. And I mean, it was just the most remarkable thing.
Wow.
It was like she was somebody else, you know? So if you are caring for a loved one, you use music, you use song, you tap into what they can remember. Well, I could look at my mom. She couldn't remember who I was, but if I said, "You are my sunshine," she would retort back, "My only sunshine, you make me happy when skies are..." And we would start singing it together, and my God, it would bring tears to my eyes. And the other residents in the lounge they'd start singing along sometimes, and she'd just do the whole song. Much. Music is just therapeutic. I picked up a guitar at 12 because I was a depressed little fat kid that nobody, especially girls, when I was, early pubescence, wanting to have a girlfriend, and nobody had ever talked to me, and I was sad a lot. I was kind of a class clown, was I happy and making jokes on the outside, but really sad on the inside. Yeah. And I picked up a guitar for, for therapy, for self-expression, a way to express myself, and it saved me. Yeah. I definitely had thought about suicide a few times when I was a kid and in my early adult life. And music and playing, even though I'm mediocre, has been priceless and better than any therapist that I could have ever hoped for. But it is so dynamic. It builds friendships, it builds self-confidence, it builds dynamic personality, and a way of expressing yourself that you can't. A way of
expressing what words sometimes just don't do.
Absolutely.
Words sometimes can get in the way.
Yeah. Just a melody, a tune, a lyric can be profound.
It can just spark and it can literally blow up.
Yeah.
Just by a couple notes, man. Yes. I can't wait to hear this song here that you.
Well, if you'd like me to play it, I'll thumb through it, and please forgive the sour notes, but it comes from the heart. And so I wrote this song when I was about 22, and it's called "Crutch of a Madman." And forgive the dull notes, but I'm going to give you hopefully a little bit of my heart.
Love it.
So, "Crutch of a Madman" by Chaz Nickerson. Your bottle like the crutch of a madman, dancing with screwheads in some sort of gangland. Turn your back, face the wall. How much is my fine? Look me straight in the eyes, baby, when you lie. Think that you're winning, babe. You think that you're winning, babe, when you have lost. When you have lost. Emotional hostage by the state of illusion. Break my back, break my balls, but babe, please, oh please, don't break my mind. Well, turn your back, face the wall. How much is my fine? Look me straight in the eyes, baby, when you lie. You think that you're winning, babe. You think that you're winning, babe, when you have lost. When you have lost. Your bottle like the crutch of a madman, dancing with screwheads in some sort of gangland, looking for answers on labels and lampshades. Well,
Turn your back, face the wall. How much is my fine? Look me straight in the eyes, baby, when you lie. You think that you're winning, babe. You think that you're winning, babe, when you have lost.
That is amazing. That is a hit song, man.
Oh, thank you.
I like that chorus. I really like that chorus. This is actually, man, I'm telling you, that's pretty good. I got that contest going. I'll probably submit that sucker for you, man.
Oh my God, Michael.
That's really good.
Thank you so much.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
I love that. Oh my God. I can get in here, man, too. I'm telling you. I can work some stuff out on some dang.
Well, you have at it. You do whatever you want with it. Your attention and your enthusiasm has just made my heart.
Yeah.
I had a Native American friend that I met through my wife.
I heard a drum beat on that.
I actually do have a recording with my friend's band, and he's doing the lead in the background, and we've got a congo and a light drum going, and it's one of my favorite things to pull out every once in a while and play. But it was so long ago. It's from the past, and it still lives on. Hell, thank you to you for
oh my God,
allowing me to share
this.
that. I'm going.
Nice.
To the next gas going that way on the highway. 82 that way? It's not too far.
20 miles or less?
Yeah, less.
Perfect.
Probably about 7 miles. You'll be in Sylvester.
Okay.
And I just want to say thank you guys for listening to this episode of The Process. Finishing up the original music contest we're working on. And we're going to find a winner that's going to win this beautiful, beautiful snare drum. Until next time, I love you. Thank you for listening to this episode. And it's just crazy how this episode even came about, And it really was just because of the fact that, this was all happenstance. Like, this is just random stuff. We've got a small Airbnb that we run, and it attracts a lot of cool people in, man. And it's just like, this was just random stuff here. And I feel like, music is in a lot of people's hearts, and we need to start expressing ourselves. A lot of people express themselves in different ways. I want to encourage somebody to express themselves in music. Show how you feel in music. It's a light. It reflects. It's a painting, but it's audio. Anyway, love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to this episode. Until next time, peace.
You've got your bottle like the crutch of a madman, dancing with screwheads in some sort of gangland, looking for answers on labels and lampshades. Well, turn your back, face the wall. How much is my fine? Look me straight in the eyes, baby, when you lie. You think that you're winning, babe. You think that you're winning, babe, when you have lost.
And another thing I'm going to add, if you want to help support Charles's journey for the fight for Alzheimer's, the link is going to be in below. And anything is very much appreciated. There's people out there really trying to do some cool stuff. And if you can help, that would be great. Till next time, God bless.